In a serene village nestled between emerald hills, where the sun kissed the earth with golden rays, there lived a young woman named Amara. Her beauty was legendary. Her long, golden hair flowed like a cascading waterfall, framing a face that seemed sculpted by the gods. Her eyes sparkled like the stars in a clear night sky, captivating everyone who dared to meet her gaze. Amara was the embodiment of grace and charm, and yet, despite her remarkable beauty, she was perpetually single, much to the confusion of her friends and family. In the village, every eligible bachelor vied for her affection. They came from neighboring towns, adorned in fine clothes, bearing gifts of jewelry and exotic fruits, hoping to win her heart. But as each suitor presented himself, Amara felt an unsettling distance grow between them. With each polite conversation and elaborate gesture, she sensed that they were enamored not with her essence, but with the idealized image of beauty she represented. Amara often retreated to the village river, a tranquil place where the water flowed over smooth stones, creating a melody that soothed her troubled heart. The river was her sanctuary, a place where she could shed the weight of expectations and just be herself. She would sit for hours, watching the ripples dance, contemplating her life, her desires, and the love that seemed to elude her. One warm afternoon, as the sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the water, an old woman approached Amara. Dressed in a simple yet flowing robe adorned with beads and symbols of the earth, she carried an air of wisdom that was palpable. This was the village priestess, known for her deep understanding of the spirit world and her ability to guide those who sought her counsel. "Child," the priestess said, her voice gentle yet firm, "I see the weight you carry. You are a beautiful flower, yet you hide your fragrance behind a veil of doubt." Amara looked up, intrigued. "What do you mean?" "Your beauty draws many, but it blinds them to the light of your soul. You must cleanse yourself of the burdens that cloud your spirit," the priestess explained, her eyes twinkling with ancient knowledge. Amara felt a stirring within her. "How can I do this?" The priestess leaned closer, her voice a whisper. "On the night of the full moon you must bathe in the village market. This bath will not be an ordinary cleansing, it is a ritual meant to wash away the superficiality that clouds your heart and to reveal the true essence of who you are." Though hesitant, Amara felt a flicker of hope. Could this be the answer to her longing for true love? As the days passed, the thought of the ritual filled her with both excitement and apprehension. The village buzzed with talk of the upcoming full moon festival, and Amara found herself caught in the tide of preparations, all while carrying the secret of the priestess's words. Finally, the night of the full moon arrived. The village market, usually vibrant with the sounds of merchants and laughter, had transformed into a place of celebration. Lanterns adorned with colorful fabrics hung from stalls, casting a warm glow on the faces of villagers dressed in their finest attire. The air was filled with the aroma of roasted meats, sweet pastries, and fragrant flowers. Amara felt a flutter of nerves as she approached the center of the market, where a large, ornate tub filled with crystal-clear water stood. The crowd gathered, their curiosity piqued by the spectacle of a young woman bathing in the heart of the market. She could feel the weight of their eyes upon her, a mixture of awe and expectation. As she stepped into the tub, the cool water enveloped her, and she closed her eyes, focusing on the priestess's words. "Let go of your fears," she whispered to herself. "Release the burdens that hold you back." With each splash of water, she envisioned her insecurities dissolving, her doubts washing away. But as the murmurs of the crowd reached her ears, Amara began to falter. What if they saw her not as she truly was, but as a spectacle? Doubt crept in, threatening to overshadow the peace she sought. Just as she felt herself slipping back into the shadows of uncertainty, she remembered the priestess's guidance. "I am more than my beauty," she repeated, allowing the water to cleanse not only her body but her spirit. She submerged herself fully, allowing the cool water to embrace her, and in that moment she surrendered her fears. The water sparkled like diamonds around her, reflecting the light of the moon, and she emerged with renewed strength. As she stepped out of the tub, the villagers gasped. Amara stood there, glistening under the moonlight, but it was not just her physical beauty that struck them, it was the radiance of her spirit that now shone through. The energy around her shifted, and she felt a profound sense of connection to those who had gathered. Among the crowd, a young man named Cale watched in awe. He was not one of the flashy suitors who had courted Amara. Instead, he was a humble carpenter, known for his kindness and quiet strength. Cale had always admired Amara from a distance, but never had the courage to approach her, believing himself unworthy of her attention. When Amara's eyes met his, something magical happened. In that instant, they both felt a pull, as if the universe had conspired to bring them together. Cale stepped forward, a tentative smile gracing his lips. "You look different," he said softly, his voice warm and genuine. "Not just beautiful, but truly alive." Amara felt her heart race as she smiled back, feeling seen for the first time. "I have learned to let go of the things that held me back," she replied, her voice steady. Their connection sparked with an undeniable chemistry, and the noise of the market faded into the background. As the festival continued around them, Amara and Cale found themselves lost in conversation, sharing stories and dreams. He spoke of his love for woodworking, of the intricate pieces he crafted with care and passion. Amara listened, captivated not just by his words but by the sincerity in his eyes. For the first time, she felt a connection that transcended superficial attraction. The night wore on, and the villagers danced under the stars, celebrating not only the full moon but the newfound energy that filled the air. Amara and Cale joined in, laughter bubbling between them as they twirled and spun, their hearts entwined in a rhythm that felt both timeless and exhilarating. In the days that followed, Amara and Cale spent more time together. They wandered through the fields of wildflowers, sharing secrets and dreams, and discovering the beauty in each other's souls. Amara found herself opening up in ways she had never imagined. Cale listened without judgment, offering encouragement and warmth. As their bond deepened, Amara learned to appreciate the little things, the way Cale's eyes crinkled when he laughed, the gentle strength of his hands as he carved wood, and the kindness he showed to everyone in the village. She realized that true love was not just about physical attraction, but about finding someone who cherished the depths of her heart. Yet, even as their relationship blossomed, Amara couldn't shake the nagging doubts that had haunted her for so long. Would Cale still love her if he truly knew her? What if her past, the burden of her beauty, cast a shadow over their happiness. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Amara and Cale sat by the river. The water shimmered like liquid gold, and the soft sound of its flow created a soothing backdrop. Cale turned to Amara, his expression serious. "Amara," he began, "I want you to know that I see you for who you are. Not just the beautiful woman everyone admires, but the incredible person beneath. You have a light that brightens the world, and I'm grateful to have you in my life." Amara felt tears prick her eyes. "Cale, I'm so afraid," she confessed. "Afraid that you'll see me as just a pretty face, that you'll turn away once you truly know me." Cale reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers. "You are so much more than your beauty. I fell for your spirit, your kindness, and the way you see the world. I want to know every part of you, the light and the shadows." With his words, the weight of her fears began to lift. Amara realized that love was not about perfection, it was about acceptance and understanding. She took a deep breath, allowing herself to be vulnerable. "I've always felt like my beauty was a burden. It kept people at a distance, and I've longed for someone who could see beyond it." Cale's gaze softened. "You don't have to carry that burden alone. I see you, Amara, in all your complexity, and I choose you, not just for your beauty, but for your heart." In that moment, Amara felt a surge of hope and warmth. She leaned closer to Cale, their foreheads touching, and allowed herself to embrace the love that had blossomed between them. As the stars twinkled overhead, she understood that true love thrived in authenticity, in the acceptance of both light and dark. They celebrated each other's victories, comforted one another in times of sorrow, and shared dreams of a future filled with promise. Yet, as their bond grew, so did the whispers of the villagers. Some praised their union, admiring the depth of their love, while others questioned it. How could someone like Cale, a simple carpenter, win the heart of the village's most beautiful woman? They wondered. The whispers became a chorus, casting shadows over their happiness. Amara and Cale remained steadfast in their love, but the pressure of societal expectations weighed heavily on Amara's heart. She often found herself drawn back to the river, seeking solace in its flowing waters, reflecting on the tumultuous world around her. One afternoon, as she sat by the river's edge, the priestess appeared once more. The old woman approached with a knowing smile, her presence a comforting balm. "You seek answers, my child," she said softly. Amara nodded, her heart heavy with uncertainty. "I feel torn between my love for Cale and the expectations of the village. What if they never accept him? What if our love is not enough?" The priestess sat beside her, the gentle sound of the river blending with her soothing voice. "True love often faces challenges, but it is resilient. Remember, my dear, that love is not defined by appearances or the judgments of others. It is forged in trust, respect, and understanding." "But what if the whispers break us apart?" Amara asked, fear creeping into her voice. "Then you must be willing to stand together against the storm," the priestess advised. "Your love is a force of nature. It will weather the harshest of winds if you nurture it with honesty and authenticity." Amara took a deep breath, absorbing the priestess's words. She realized that her love for Cale was worth fighting for, that it transcended the superficial judgments of the village. With newfound determination, she returned to Kale, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the harvest festival approached, the village buzzed with excitement. Amara and Kale joined in the preparations, their laughter echoing through the fields as they gathered produce and decorated the market. The festival promised a celebration of community, yet Amara sensed the lingering tension in the air, the whispers growing louder. On the night of the festival, the village came alive with music and dance. Lanterns illuminated the market, casting a warm glow over the joyful faces. But amidst the merriment, Amara could feel the weight of judgment pressing down upon her. She took Kale's hand, grounding herself in his presence. "Are you ready?" Kale asked, sensing her unease. "As ready as I'll ever be," Amara replied, steeling herself for what lay ahead. Together, they stepped into the heart of the festivities, determined to celebrate their love despite the whispers that surrounded them. As the night unfolded, the couple danced together, lost in their own world amidst the celebrations. But soon, the whispers began to rise, sharp and cutting, piercing through the laughter. "Look at her, dancing with that carpenter," a voice sneered. "She must be desperate to settle for him." Amara's heart sank, but Kale squeezed her hand reassuringly. "Ignore them," he whispered, his voice steady. "We know our truth." But the whispers grew louder, the doubts creeping in. Amara felt her resolve falter. She turned to Kale, her voice trembling. "What if they're right? What if I'm just a passing fancy for you?" Kale paused, looking deep into her eyes. "Amara, my feelings for you are real. I don't care what they think. You are the one I want, and that will never change." In that moment, Amara felt the storm inside her calm. She realized that their love was a sanctuary, a place where they could be free from judgment. They began to dance again, this time with more passion and joy, their connection igniting the air around them. As they twirled under the stars, the villagers stopped to watch, the whispers fading into a stunned silence. Amara felt a surge of power within her, and she knew that she would no longer let fear dictate her happiness. They danced with abandon, their hearts beating in sync, a testament to their unwavering bond. By the end of the night, the villagers could no longer deny the authenticity of their love. As Amara and Kale stood together, hand in hand, the whispers began to shift into murmurs of admiration. The villagers began to see not just a beautiful woman and a humble carpenter, but a partnership grounded in trust and respect. The following days brought a newfound acceptance. As they walked through the village, Amara and Kale were greeted with smiles and nods of approval. The community began to embrace their love story, understanding that true beauty lay not in appearances, but in the strength of their connection. Months passed, and Amara and Kale flourished together. Their love grew deeper, a tapestry woven with shared dreams, laughter, and a shared vision of the future. They spent evenings by the river, talking about their hopes and aspirations, envisioning a life built on love and partnership. One evening, as the sun set in a blaze of color, Kale took Amara's hand and led her to a beautiful clearing by the river. He had crafted a small wooden bench, adorned with flowers and symbols of their journey together. "Amara," he said, his voice steady yet filled with emotion, "you've shown me the true meaning of love. I want to spend my life with you, facing every challenge and celebrating every joy. Will you marry me? Tears of joy streamed down Amara's face as she nodded, her heart bursting with happiness. Yes, Cale, 1,000 times yes. In that moment, the world around them faded away, and it was just the two of them, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the love that had blossomed against all odds. They embraced, sealing their promise with a kiss as the river flowed beside them, a witness to their love story. As the village celebrated their engagement, Amara felt a sense of fulfillment that she had never known. She had found love not just in the eyes of Cale, but in the acceptance of her own self. No longer burdened by the expectations of others, she had embraced her true essence, discovering that love was about authenticity, vulnerability, and courage. And so, in the heart of that village, under the watchful gaze of the river and the stars, Amara and Cale began their journey together, ready to face the world hand in hand. Their love story became a legend, inspiring others to seek connections that transcended the superficial and to embrace the beauty of their true selves. In the years that followed, Amara and Cale built a life filled with joy, kindness, and understanding. They created a home where love flourished, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the laughter of friends and family. The whispers of the past faded into memory, replaced by the harmony of a community that had come together to celebrate love in its truest form. As they sat by the river one evening, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Amara reflected on her journey. She realized that beauty, love, and acceptance were not confined to appearances, but were woven into the very fabric of existence. In the heart of that village she had discovered not just love, but the essence of her own spirit. And in the end, Amara learned that true beauty lies not in how one is seen, but in how one sees both oneself and the world. It was a lesson she would carry with her for a lifetime, a testament to the transformative power of love, acceptance, and the courage to be authentic in a world that often demanded otherwise. And so, their story continued, a celebration of love that echoed through the ages, reminding all who heard it that the heart's true desire is to be seen, understood, and cherished for all that it is.